This is what a day in the life of a pro cyclist actually looks like. Today I sit down with one of the biggest rising talents in the world of pro cycling, EF Education's Darren Rafferty. And what he shared in this interview genuinely surprised me, because the quiet, composed rider you see in the Giro d'Italia, inside that there's somebody carrying a level of pressure, expectation and sacrifice that nobody talks about. From growing up in Ireland to navigating the brutal setbacks of the World Tour, breakthrough wins, this is what life looks like inside one of the top World Tour teams. A day in the life of a pro cyclist with Darren Rafferty. Darren Rafferty, welcome to the Roadman podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, we're in Darren's house. He moved here since he went to Billy Big Time.
Yeah, as you can see, nice house, big house.
Lovely backdrop. I was chatting to some of the boys in our club WhatsApp group back home, and everyone very excited. Fellow Paddy on the podcast. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who the last Paddy was. Well, I suppose we'll have to give Ben the tag, will we?
Yeah.
We'll let him away with it.
Yeah.
But one of the big questions is just like, well, maybe this is the best place to start. You get to live what a lot of riders dream about. You know, and you were that kid dreaming of being in the World Tour, and now you're in the World Tour. It's like opening that up and letting us peek inside. What's that like on a day-to-day? Like from training to nutrition, so maybe we'll go through some of that and how rock and roll is the lifestyle.
I think, a lot of the viewers will be pretty disappointed to hear that it's quite boring most days. So sorry in advance for that. But I think, it's something about the cycling lifestyle. It's pretty strict. It's pretty regime with a bit of fun sprinkled in, a lot of travel, and mainly just a lot of consistency, a lot of time on the bike, a few hours a week in the gym, trying to stay consistent with the nutrition, and trying to enjoy the days with the boys when you can. So.
Like Blake Matthews was saying, his secret is he's gone to bed and woke up at the exact same time for a decade. It's like, that's not sexy.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's usually not that exciting. I think people kind of have a preconceived image of what the life's like, and then it's actually not that different to what you think it's going to be honest. Maybe just
is it discipline, or do you just get into routine and you don't even think about the discipline anymore?
I would say you're not even thinking about discipline. I mean, you have a coach that sets the training, you just get it done. I think most of days, obviously there's days you don't feel your best, you can always knock an hour or two off, or if you're feeling good, knock an extra hour on. But there's a lot of chat about like motivation or discipline or getting the job done, but I think when you don't have much else to do in your day, there should not really many excuses.
I remember reading this book, Thinking Fast and Slow, and I had this really cool idea that always stuck me in it. So they said there's two types of decisions, type 1 and type 2 decisions, and it talked about the start where when you start driving and you're trying to figure out how to drive a manual, you're like press the clutch, okay, change gear, right, remember, not crash, clutch, change gear, and then you like fast forward 6 months and this just happens automatically, and you can listen to the radio, chat on the phone, have a fag, do all these things when you're driving, and you don't think about it anymore because it's changed from like something that's an automated behavior to something that's a manual behavior that requires a lot of effort to something that's just an automatic behavior. Like, I just got up this morning and brushed my teeth. I didn't think, oh no, I got to brush my teeth. The cognitive load is reduced for doing that. Does training become that for you? It's just like wake up, train.
Yeah, I think it's exactly like you said. It's that autopilot. Your brain's habit tracking all the time. So once you start making something a regular occurrence, I think your body starts to fall into that routine, and you wake up, make breakfast, have a coffee, and then you're out on the bike, get what you need to get done, home, lunch.
We were just chatting about this just before we press record, like the new habit you've had to integrate in this, and a lot of the World Tour teams have had to integrate, is wake up, check Hexus, see what's for breakfast, weigh out the oats.
Yeah.
And that might be the part that people are like, oh, I couldn't weigh out the oats. But it's not that bad. Like.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the big changes, like when you go from just riding your bike around at home to then doing it as a job. It's more so the things off the bike that change, like getting up, weighing yourself every morning, checking.
So you weigh yourself every morning?
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking.
I mean, to me, it's like some people think, oh, I couldn't do that or don't want. I think once you're in the routine, it's also just doesn't matter.
Because it's the
number,
first way, and it's a difficult one, and it's like
it's just a number is a number, and
it's not. It's judgment.
yeah, I think I also looked at it that way for a while, and then you realize it's only about you. So I think the sooner you get past the number, it is just simply a number. Like it's actually kind of irrelevant. If I asked you like how was your day,
Yeah.
or if I asked you how much do you weigh, it's there's one question that's important. It's how was your day.
Yeah. But and you know what? Like we were talking about excess and the amount of food we need to eat, and why I actually really like that idea of knowing what to eat. It kind of removes the morality around food. Like you're saying, people that jump on the scales and be like, oh, it's a number, but that number represents then a mood that they're in for the rest of the day. I think we can get into that with food as well. Like, you know, we went for a coffee and had a croissant before. You could tag that as bad food, and you get into this idea of good food and bad food rather than understanding the actual macronutrient composition of the food and going, right, probably went a little bit over on fat, but banged a load of carbs in. And now you can start to estimate how that fits into the rest of your day.
Yeah, I think people can be pretty harsh on themselves sometimes with food. And it kind of comes this internal battle of good and bad, like you said, but really it's just about trying to keep calm, not letting those things really eat away at you. And I mean, if you want to be top athlete, obviously you have to watch what you're eating, but it's not like I've never had a sweet in my life, or I don't eat a chocolate bar every so often. Like it's common. Most if not all athletes do it. It's not something to be scared of, I think. So.
I love the idea of instead of all or nothing, all or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, just because you have 2 biscuits doesn't mean you need to go and then polish off the full packet of biscuits and a tub of ice cream.
Yeah, there's a bit of restraint involved, I think, and I think that's something that some people struggle with if they go all or nothing on some sort of diet. It's like, gonna go all in, not eat anything, you know, not gonna eat any chocolate, any sweets for 2 weeks, and then there's just this massive crash afterwards, which is pretty inevitable. And I think that's something Hexus does pretty good, is like keeps you grounded on this is what you need to eat for today. If you eat this, you'll be fine.
You gonna use it on Christmas Day?
No. I think I'll not use it Christmas week, to be honest. Like try and stay consistent up until then, and then
Because you've camps before and camps after.
Yeah, we had our first camp just a couple of weeks ago, middle of November, and then we have another camp in Giro in the middle of January. So, yeah, I mean, the work's being done pre and post Christmas. The few days around Christmas is, I think, for everyone just some time to switch off, bit of family time.
You're in the generation coming through now that everyone complains about that I talked on the podcast. Like I haven't chatted to too many lads from your generation, and everyone's like, young lads coming through ruining cycling. They take everything too serious.
I'm not really going to be on that side of the fence because I'm probably one of them people that takes it too serious too. I'm quite serious with most things. Probably get plenty of abuse from probably the older generation saying, yeah, he's taking it way too serious.
But it seems to be that criticism level that every new generation that comes along.
Yeah, I think it's just like a change of culture, like kind of an evolution shift. That people have kind of rose-tinted glasses on the good old days, like how it was back in their day or when they were at their peak or whatever. And really all the younger guys, and I'm well aware of the fact because I was there 5 years ago, all they're doing is looking up and thinking, I'm better than that rider. He's World Tour, but I know in 5 years I'm going to be better.
Yeah.
And that is probably true. The thing is, like with evolution, with the knowledge the riders have, juniors with coaches, they probably will be and should be better than I am at 22. So, I mean, that's great.
Yeah, but there's 2 sides to that coin, isn't there? Like, I can definitely see that argument because I seen it as well. My generation coming through, you know, obviously I'm a good bit older than you, and my generation got shit because we were using parameters from the generation before, going like, oh, you're taking all the fun out of training, you know, no more group rides because you're using a parameter, and then it just gets normalised, and every Cat 4 in the world now races on a parameter. It's just, it's normal. Yous are taking it to the next level with aero, nutrition. But I wonder, is like the younger lads coming through, maybe even the generation behind you that's coming next, are they doing everything right already? And there's not that room then for progression. You know, when you got into the World Tour, like I remember having friends that got into the World Tour, and it's like, whoa, they've all of a sudden started training totally different to how I was training. They're all of a sudden eating totally different. And then they take this big step up again. If you're doing everything at 17, is there a place to go with that?
No, I think that kind of difference in level has definitely shrunk in the last few years, like definitely in the last 5-6 years, that jump. I mean, you look around now, every World Tour team pretty much has a Devo team.
Yeah.
They have kind of the practices put in place for everyone from 18. Most riders come into those teams with an agent, with a coach. Most with a nutritionist as well.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's even crazy for me. I'm literally only 2 years out of under 23.
What are you now, 22?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're definitely part of that cohort.
I'm part of the young
cycle.
group. Yeah, like the post-Remco era, I suppose you could call it.
And when you look at your age group coming up, who is the lad you look at and like, he could be the next Remco, he could be the next Tadej?
It's a good question, actually. I suppose there was no one really. I mean, Johannes Stonemita, the one baby Giro, I probably would have said he was definitely going to be on to some big things, and then after one season was already changing from Visma to Decathlon.
Has he got a contract still?
Yeah. I mean, you got Del Toro that's skyrocketed, but I also couldn't have told you that 2 years ago. So it's a really, really hard gamble, I think, to pick and choose which rider's actually going to reach the heights that you think is possible. What
is it, do you think, that separates the two riders you named? Like, Del Toro's obviously gone on. Was he top or second in the UCI rankings this year? Like, phenomenal season.
Yeah, phenomenal season.
Like, I don't think, did he lose a race in Italy this year? I don't even know if he did.
Yeah, I think maybe off the podium and won, but
like, phenomenal season. But is there anything you can put obviously UAE built this infrastructure, and we talked about this not too long ago. Like, it happened fast. Like, 2022, UAE were widely criticised for not having a strong enough team to support Tadej. He wins the TT against Roglic on Pla de Belfi, wins the Tour on the last day. Like, if you look back at the history books, like, Tadej won the Tour, you kind of have this impression they controlled the Tour for the last 2 weeks. Wasn't the case at all. They were ragtag all over the place.
Yeah.
He won on the last day. They've gone from that to building this mammoth machine in a few years. Like, what do you think is the secret sauce for building that? And has Del Toro benefited from that, or whatever is going on with that culture of high performance there?
Yeah, I think the simple answer is money, and I think a lot of people won't like that answer, but when you have more money, you can invest in better coaches, better nutritionists, more aero testing, better bikes. There's a lot of things you can do with more money. You can pay for better riders, and whenever you start to gain that kind of momentum, snowball effect with good riders, then other great riders want to join in and be a part of the Tour de France winning team or the Giro winning team. And then from that point on, it just kind of gravitational forces pulling people in towards it, I think. But I think with all teams, there's only so much of an era that each team holds on to that top spot for. And it's only a matter of time before another team kind of moves in, swoops in. But I mean, I think someone for Del Toro, he's definitely had a big jump in coming from a Mexican continental team, something like UAE. It's probably a team where he's seen massive, huge improvement with development and rider support. He just had a bigger margin to improve, I think.
Money. Have you seen Wolf of Wall Street?
I have.
It's great seeing him. He's like, I've been a rich man and I've been a poor man. I choose rich every time. With enough money, you can do anything. You can save the spot of the hell with enough money.
Yeah, I mean, money's not the answer to everything in life, but I think definitely when it comes to sport, it's a money game. And
do you reckon we can see Tadej saving the spot of the all?
Well, I think, yeah, it is hard for the smaller teams to compete with that kind of cash, and they have to come at it with different angles. Like for our team, for example, we really try and support our sponsors and kind of make that our more edge on like competitive edge for.
I couldn't believe when we were chatting, having a coffee this morning, like how much work you've actually put into sponsor activation, showing return on investment for sponsors.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of riders in the podcast. I've never had a conversation like that.
Yeah. I think that's actually really insightful, and something that JV kind of projects onto the riders pretty well is the fact that, we're paid to ride bikes because we are basically moving billboards. Kind of, we are the riders that are supporting our sponsors. The team isn't anything without the sponsor, and a lot of people have, like even WOUT, I know, have spoke about like how fragile the sport system, financial system is. A lot of people thought about different ways to run the sport. There was a mention of the Super League recently, but I think ultimately, until cycling finds a better revenue stream for races like the Tour and other Grand Tours, it's very difficult to not show full support to the sponsors, because without a bike sponsor, without a clothing sponsor, soon the team kind of fades away pretty quickly.
You're in the exact same model as I am on a podcast. It's like you're capturing attention, and then you're loaning that attention to brands in return for cash, and that's the exchange of value. It's like, I have some attention, you want some of my attention, you pay some cash. But you can't sleep on the fact that that is the transactional relationship. There is an expectation that when a brand gives you money, you are exposing them to attention. You guys obviously have multiple times platform that any podcast has, because you're able to leverage stuff like the Tour de France. Like if you're in the break at the Tour de France, what were you saying? Like the stats on that are absolutely wild if you're in a 2 up at the Tour de France.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think TV time and this, like a lot of, it's always been called the Tour. If you tune in on any of the boring days, and you have the breakaway day, and it's like the TV breakaway, or it's sometimes called, and you'll hear the commentators kind of chatting on and on and on about Archaea and the break, or you know,
like
if you're
that 2
watching
up Van der Poel and his lad who won the combativity. Correct. His name. They won the combativity prize this year.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna choose the wrong name. I feel, not sure. I know exactly who you're on about, and he deserves a lot of praise for it. It was pretty sensational, right?
It was phenomenal, right?
It had people chatting about it, got on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram with lots of comments, and then all of a sudden, you know, if that's the team, they're thinking, okay, we've had a lot of people in the world of cycling chat about this event today, and that's obviously of great value to Alpecin, selling a few more shampoos or whatever. But
yeah, because that's the thing in my house. I'm only buying cycling brands. Like, we're getting new floors in the house. They're Deconic. We're getting Deconic floors and windows.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's
Alpecin caffeine shampoo all the way. Like, you don't keep this hair going with Head and Shoulders. That's an Alpecin job right there. But it is storytelling on 2 wheels is what you're doing. And when you create a day like that where Van der Poel is in the break all day with his teammate because his teammate has a dream of winning the combativity or standing on a podium in Tour de France, it's storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Storytelling's existed forever. That's why we're addicted to these stories.
Yeah, and I think that's something that EF do really well. Like with the YouTube race
The YouTube
series.
channel's really good.
Yeah, a lot of people say like, oh yeah, I've seen the YouTube or the Pink Team, and to some people they might not notice a sponsor down the side of the jersey, but they know that it's the Pink Team and they race the Tour and they've got this kind of crocodile guy that's the mascot, and that's what's exciting for people. And I think that's why it's a team that definitely proud to be a part of.
And like, you can even see with the direction you've gone, I'm not sure if it was a JV's brainchild, but they launched the alternate calendar a few years ago where you had Howes, who was, I love Alex, he's been on the podcast loads of times, he's great crack. Lackey was on a few weeks ago as well, and the 2 of those boys just going and doing wacky races, and that captured so much attention. And because that's what it is, like we're talking about, it's that transaction. It's, you're trying to figure out new ways of capturing attention. A lot of teams aren't doing that. Like, I especially think of teams that disappeared last year, like, you know, Wanty Group. Like, name one story that Wanty Group
Correct.
ever involved. I can't. I can name one rider on Wanty Group. Maybe, you know, if you go into my head, I might name 5, but most people watching can only name 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask many people if they watched the like Ride Around Australia from Lachlan, they're gonna say, oh yeah, watched it, great watch. And like, I don't watch much YouTube, but I thought that was an interesting story. It was an interesting video to watch, and it captured my interest. So I think that niche of the sport where it's doing something that's not just road cycling, riding up a mountain in France, it does capture the normal human that just wants to go explore, wants to get out on their bike and do the simple art of going for a pedal.
I think it reconnects with something that we can all identify with. Like when you start cycling, it's, you know, your mom says you're not allowed past the end of the road, and then all of a sudden the boundaries are lifted, you can go past the end of the road, and instantly you're exploring, instantly you're doing something that your mates aren't, and it feels like it's still cool riding your bike as an adult in a new place. You're like, oh, I wonder what's around that corner. I wonder what's, if I go left at the top of that climb I normally stop at, what's there? And it taps back into that. And the Tour, or, you know, especially watching one-day races in Belgium or something, like, it's amazing as a hardcore cycling fan, but I can also see if I knock over to my parents' house and my sister or something's there, she's just not watching. She just doesn't care. It's I don't know what it is if it's not the Tour de France.
Correct. I think the draw from other sports, like, there's not many people apart from the diehard cycling fans that are going to tune in for 6 hours of San Remo. And
no one's tuning in for 6 hours of San Remo, right?
No, this is what I mean. It's like if you've got a basketball game on and it only lasts 1 hour, you can tune in for the full time. But
this has been the Tadej criticism, because like if you're a cycling fan, you normally ride the bike. If you're in Ireland, UK, Europe, your weekend routine is you get out, you do the club spin, you meet the lads, whatever, you come home, you catch the last 60, 70k of San Remo, Flanders, Strade Bianche, whatever. Now you're coming home and it's like rush home, turn on the TV, oh super, Tadej solo. And now it's just watching like a televised training ride.
Yeah.
It's like the drama's gone, like.
Yeah, I think it definitely, it's as much of a spectacle, but just in like a more boring way, I suppose you can say. Like, it's still so impressive to watch how good he is on a bike. And I think a great race that I love watching was Lombardia this year. And it's like, you really are seeing Quinn Simmons like give everything, but you just know that like,
oh yeah, Quinn had mad power for that as well.
You just know it's like beautifully calculated in the most boring sense from UAE behind, that they just got him and they just like, it's like a slow death almost. Like, you know it's inevitable, but you're like, surely he's not going to catch him on this climb, and then you watch it and it just makes him look like he's not moving. But I think that's the hard bit for the spectator. It's, you really want to see a close battle, and people get a lot of a kick out of like two rivals going at it.
My Mrs. Sarah, who you haven't met, I'm sure you meet her at some point, she went over to Lombardia as a guest of Visma this year, and she said it was phenomenal. Like, the access behind the scenes, like in the, I don't know what car she was in, if she was in Team Car 1 or 2 or whatever, but they had her in the car for a little bit, drop her to the feed zone, race comes past, pick her up, and she said it was just the atmosphere on the climbs. It was, you rode Lombardia this year, didn't you?
No, I've been down to do it both years, and I've been sick or very tired both years, so ended up racing the day after. You
were out in Italy for that period though, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I literally was out in Italy, was sick, flew home, and then they needed me last minute for the day after Lombardia, and I was back over again. So yeah, I've kind of finished the season on my knees kind of 2 years in a row. So it's been on the cards, but just hasn't got around to completing it yet. So
when you say finish the season on your knees 2 years in a row, what do you think's gone? Has something gone wrong? Like, is that an expression, or you actually have finished it on your knees?
No, I think it's more like, it's just comes into that September, October period of sickness where it's just immune system's kind of low. You've been at race weight for quite a while.
Yeah.
You did quite a few race days. You've been on a lot of camps. The energy's starting to like kind of fade away, and you're kind of
both mental and physical.
Yeah, I think so. And you're clinging on to, like, I mean, my first year as a pro was more than 70 race days. Straight out of under 23s, and
that's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like I did my first Grand Tour and then decided I'm going to try and keep this form to Worlds. So I took the Monday off and just got straight back into it and tried to hold like form for 10 more days to Zurich.
What was your first Grand Tour?
Vuelta 24.
Vuelta, what a brutal.
Yeah, and it was a really hard one as well. It was like 40 degrees for the first 6-7 days, all in the south of Spain. Last week of August, first ever Grand Tour. Didn't know what to expect. Constant stress about like, will I make it past another day? You know?
You're obviously well able to go uphill with the best riders in the world. I think a Grand Tour is a totally different experience depending on the type of rider you are. Like, Mullen was saying to me, going to the Giro, you're 80 plus kilograms, it's like going bike packing for the week. It's like you're just waiting for a climb, and then you're like, grand, I'll just tap in here for the day.
Yeah, luckily for me, like, it's not the worst stage when it looks like a pretty hilly day out, but I think for some of the bigger guys, it's definitely not easy to hack around for 3 weeks. But I think that honestly the riders that deserve the most credit, like if you see some of the sprinters that are really, they're digging properly deep to finish 30 minutes down on a stage. Most spectators don't see that, but they get back to the bus and they've given just as much as the rider that's won, if not more.
Yeah, but like, I hated that Netflix Unchained. I think almost every cycling fan didn't like Unchained because I don't know, I had this cool opportunity to tell the cycle. You know, when cycling makes no sense at the start, like again, back to my Mrs. Sarah starting to watch cycling, I was almost trying to brainwash her so I wouldn't have to fight for remote control. So I'm like, no, it's really good, I'll explain what's happening. So you're explaining what's happening, she's like, makes no sense, people are just cycling along. And then slowly it starts to make sense. And then you have that moment going, oh, I actually know what's going on. It really makes sense. Yeah. And you fall in love with the sport. And like we both have, and it probably happened to you at an early age, same for me. But I just felt like Netflix had that chance to give that moment to the masses to go, oh, that's why cycling's magical.
Yeah.
And instead of just like almost picking away at the sculpture to reveal something that's really cool, they try to manufacture drama. It's like, you don't need to manufacture it. It's already there in the time cut. It's there in the sacrifice of the 80 kilo lads trying to get over a climb. It's just shine a light and look in the right places, and it has all the drama it needs.
I think that's the thing, like endurance sport doesn't really have that like 1 hour highlight show kind of feel to it. It has to have that crescendo of the reason they're tired at the end of this climb is because they did 210k before this climb, and I think that was the part that Netflix just want to race past and just quickly skip to the climb where they're just attacking each other full gas, and it's just all biz all the time, like full gas, and that's not really cycling. Like there is some boring stages, there is some days that people are like, oh, why is it 210k? But I think, for example, the Giro, that's what accumulates the fatigue. That so on day 9 you have this proper battle in the mountains because people have 8 days of solid riding.
Sticking a 6 hour bus transfer after the stage, keep you on your toes.
Correct. Like, it's easy to say, oh, the stage could have been 2 hours shorter, it would have been way more exciting. But then I think you would get to Friday and it wouldn't be you wouldn't be as tired as you could have been. So, yeah, as you say, I think there's a lot more to just cycling than the kind of sunflowers and the castles and the block of colour moving along the French roads. Like there is, believe it or not, some tactics to it, and it's not just an individual sport, which some people assume that it is.
How hard's the bits we don't see? Like the post-stage, trying to get food down you, the transfers, how stressful is it? The hotels are notoriously shit in France and Italy and Spain.
Yeah, I suppose that's sometimes like the less glamorous side. You have some great hotels, you have some terrible hotels, and I think it's just kind of accepting that like not every town can have 18 5-star hotels going to put up every World Tour team and it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Who gets dibs on them, Taddy?
I think they honestly share them around. I think I haven't done the tour yet, but I know they have like this 5, 4, 3, 2-star model, and every team gets kind of an even allocation of different hotels. Obviously they might come at different days, but across the full 3 weeks, I think it works out pretty even for all teams.
And do you bring mattresses and pillows?
Our team do pillows and also the 8 sleeps.
Oh, using the 8 sleep?
Yeah.
You use that at home as well?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's lovely. Yeah.
Pricey. You didn't pay for it.
I haven't looked at the price, so.
Yeah, I think they are pricey.
Yeah.
I had a look at one a while ago. I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's spicy.
It is a bit of a game changer.
Is it actually?
It's really good. Like, I love a cold bed, but I don't like being cold, if that makes sense. Like, I like getting into a cold bed and then you can adjust it so it's getting a little bit warmer.
Very bougie.
Yeah, and then it gets you get into the deep sleep, and then it like warms back up as you're getting ready to wake up. So it kind of wakes you up before the alarm goes off almost.
I don't know.
You got a little vibrator in the side that kind of wakes you up in the morning. It's like an alarm that just buzzes.
Like the little vibrator part.
No, it's just like you can double tap, turn it off, no noise.
I don't know. Nice. There's something, maybe I'm a bit traditional, but something about sleeping on a battery just feels like it might be good for me.
Yeah, it's almost like a water bed. It's like, it's quite nice. It's like a mattress topper. It's not.
This has turned into an 8 sleep ad, but
yeah.
I did hear you can actually do different temperatures on different sides of the bed.
Yeah. This is something my girlfriend loves because she likes a warm side of the bed and I don't. So you can split it down the middle, and we have like a Katie half and a Darren half.
Right, I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, they're pretty useful.
I'm gonna get one. All of a sudden, I'm gonna be able to ride 6 watts a kilo like you.
I don't think it adds too much onto the power, but definitely for a good night's sleep, it's worth it.
It would be interesting to track though. On you're using Whoop, I'm using Ultrahuman. Like having that data to see how well you slept. I don't actually know what to do with the data still. Like I'm working with some cool coaches this year, Alex Camier and Ian Fielder helped me on coaching, and I've never got a message saying change your session because you didn't sleep well. Yeah,
I mean the Whoop we use is mainly for our doctors, to be honest, and the only reason that they'll get in touch with me or any rider on the team that is like if we've had like a block of red. They're kind of more looking at the trend view.
Yeah.
If it's looking like really not recovering and it's like high heart rate, high respiratory rate for like 4 or 5 days in a row and your recovery's in the red, they'll just give you a quick call and be like, how are you feeling? Like, are these sensations matching up to the values we're seeing on Whoop? And then it's at that point where you say, no, I feel fine. Or it's at that point you see, I feel a little bit of a sickness coming on. And then it'll be, okay, rest day. But if it's just ticking along, yellow, green, and...
because you've seen some of the best performances when it's saying, like you look at some cool studies on, Grand Tour stage winners, and looking at the correlation between that and heart rate variability stuff, and they're in the gutter on a lot of the marks, and then they're putting out PBs across multiple power durations, and it's like, what's happening there?
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, because something I also know from my own experience, but a lot of other people have spoke about, is they do some of their best 20, 30, slightly longer duration PBs on the third week of a Grand Tour.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's the course that allows it, or just the build-up of fatigue that your body really adapts quite quickly to. But no one's really able to finger point why that's the case.
It's interesting implications for the idea of taper, though, and how much fatigue you should carry into an A priority event. Because definitely, I think it's very personal as well. I know if I go into a race and I feel too fresh going into it, I prefer to feel a little bit more fatigued and a little bit more freshness. I feel like I don't have the work done or something. It plays on me, because the mental and physical are so interconnected on the bike. I feel like I'm undercooked if I'm too fresh going in.
Yeah, I also don't like the undercooked feeling. Like, something I only really learned at the Giro this year was I took really easy day on the first rest day, and then was told to ride the TT easy the next day. And then stage 11, or the second day after the first rest day, I was just so fresh. Like, I was like, I've just rode 1 hour and then a 25-minute TT so easy that I just got to the first climb and I was
What's
like,
easy, like zone 3?
I mean, maybe riding the TT at 310 or 320 watts.
It's top of zone 2, probably zone 3.
Yeah, but it's not hard for a time trial. You're not putting yourself through too much exertion. But then the next day I was like, okay, this didn't work for me. And the second rest day I decided, okay, we'd just switch it up, spoke with my coach, and we were like, let's do some tempo, keep the body moving, do 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And I felt much better the next day. And that routine for my body works well. And we've got some riders on the team, like Mikkel, Honore, who go like, no, 45 minutes, spin to the cafe at 150 watts, stop, little coffee, and just really cruise home. So I think it just got to find what works for you, and there's no perfect answer on it.
There's a business idea in creating an app wherever you are to show you the best coffee shop within a certain range. I'm like, pros will definitely use this on a rest day. It's like,
yeah, we've learned from Alice Green, like European Coffee Trip, great app.
European Coffee Trip.
Yeah, it just basically shows up all the specialty coffee places nearby. So yeah, I'm not really the route or the coffee finder.
You coffee
at
fan
races.
though?
Yeah, coffee fan.
It's a coffee place in Dublin. I need to bring you to it. So a few months ago, a training partner of mine, we were nowhere near the coffee shop, and he's like, bro, we need to go to this coffee shop. And brings me back into the city. It's like the world's most expensive Americano. It's like €14 or something for Americano. But when you check this out, next time you're up in Dublin, we'll go. It's like this fella in a lab coat is coming out, and he's like with the Bunsen burner, heating stuff up, mixing things together, and I felt a bit spacey cycling home after. It was like a mushroom trip or something.
A good flat white, honestly, is fine for me. Like, I'm not really that knowledgeable about it. I like the taste of a good coffee, but I'm not going to be telling you that you ground it too finely or not finely enough. So
I've gone full Lachlan mode on it now, where I'm just getting Maxwell House and boiling the kettle at home, and it's like, I don't know, it's an Irish philosopher has this idea of like, whenever you're on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. It's like when everyone's talking about flat whites and
you've got to be the
coarseness of the grind, I'm like, Maxwell House is where we're at.
Nescafe Gold.
So if you look back on last season, is there lessons to learn?
Yeah, I think there's always lessons to learn. I think that's how you become like a better version of you. Is there's always, no one's doing anything perfectly, and there's like, look at every single year of cycling, there's always something that's improved from one year to the next, whether that's rim brakes or discs, whether that's different group set, whether that's putting on a single ring, whether that's skin suits, aero helmets. I mean, it's a constantly evolving process, and I think the moment you think that you've done it all is the moment that you fall off the pedestal. So
are you, when you look back at last year, are you looking back on it through a bunch of different lenses, going, like, nutritionally, what can I do better? Equipment, what can I do better?
Yeah.
Training, what can I do better? Lifestyle, what can I do better? What's the other lenses you're looking at that through?
I think you just pretty much named them all. I think there's always small improvements to be made across that kind of vast range of things that encompass your daily life. For me, I mean, I've switched coach this year. We have a new bike coming. We have a new group set coming. new clothing manufacturer coming.
Oh, Rafa's gone, yeah. That's a big one for EF, I know.
Yeah.
That broke the internet.
Yeah, I think it was 9 or 10 year kind of partnership, and it's what a lot of people know. It's about the Palace collab, or the Giro swap out kits with the ducks on the helmets.
Yeah, the ducks on the helmets.
It's like sticks out with a lot of people, and I think that's what resonates with the average cyclist that's in chatting about cycling. They remember those kind of wacky things that maybe they didn't win a stage in the first week, but they were like, oh yeah, they rocked up to a triple T with the ducks on their head.
It's almost like if you're not going to win a stage, you need to have a duck on your helmet.
Yeah, I mean, it's what works. I mean, we're still chatting about it. I don't know how many years on.
I don't know who won the opening stage that year.
I have no idea either.
But I can remember the duck on the helmet. It's, did you ever watch Diary of a CEO podcast?
I've read the book, haven't watched the podcast.
Right, so I was going to reference the book. So he has this idea of a big blue slide in the book in one of the chapters where he had a marketing company, and he said he made the dumbest investment ever, this huge slide in the office.
Yes.
And for years after, everyone would just come to see the blue slide. So he got millions of free publicity from companies, Forbes or something, coming to take a picture of the big blue slide.
Yeah.
EF do seem to think about the big blue slide.
Yep. 100%.
Like, that's the duck, it's the collab. Do you see that being in, like, because that feels like a part of the, back where we're from, the document that governs the country. It's Bunrock the Hare and the Constitution of Ireland. It's like almost, is there the Constitution of EF, the values of EF? That big blue slide seems to be ingrained in the values of EF. Do you worry with a new clothing brand coming in that that's going to change? Or is it important to you even that it stays?
No, I think it'll definitely change something. I think the ethos of the team's always the strongest, and I think it was that kind of feedback from the team that kind of went to Rafa and back. It was like a rebound, and I think EF will always try and do something a bit different to every other team, and that's their marketing strategy. It's how we race. It's a little bit different. It's not traditional, and it's always trying to find the best out of riders that maybe aren't the best. You can't just go out and buy the best sprinter, the best climber, the best classics guy. It's kind of building a team around riders that can really gel together, find a group that works, all in for a certain rider, and we're happy to do it.
And is there good crack, good cohesion in the group?
I think there's super camaraderie in the team, to be honest. I think that's one of the things that the team do really well. Like, there's so many nations spread across our team, and somehow we all collectively see that as a way to get to know each other better.
Because Carapaz was a little bit of a, when that got announced, I'm not sure, was it 3 years ago now? It didn't feel like a EF signing. It felt like he'd already won a Grand Tour.
Yeah.
And it was like, he's one of the big names of this generation going into EF. What's that been like, being teammates with a Grand Tour winner?
Yeah, I think I've actually had a pretty big working relationship with Richie. I think we actually get on really well. He's kind of a quiet leader, but it's something that I like. And the 2 Grand Tours I've did have been for him.
Oh, no way.
Vuelta last year, Giro this year. He came away with a 4th last year and a 3rd this year. And I think at the Giro, he really proved that he could have won that Grand Tour. And it really hung in the balance of big stage 20 that everyone's like, oh, this could be the day. Won stage 16. He's looking like the strongest. Kind of got that cunning,
you
older rider with experience.
This year?
Yeah, 2025.
So that was Finestra?
Yes.
Oh, that was a great stage.
Yeah, I mean, we came in with this kind of massive plan of just bomb the first 5 minutes, get rid of every UAE teammate, and see what Richie can do. And I mean, I've honestly watched that climb back. It's one of the few race highlights I've watched more than once, and I think I've watched it maybe 5 or 6 times. And every time it just like kind of breaks my heart a bit to be on the bus post shower. We were on like a full communal bus post stage, like it wasn't our team bus.
Yeah.
Because we were getting transferred to the airport to fly to Rome. And yeah, he was just, dejected figure, I think. Like, he really knew what could have been. And to be part of that day where everything went so right up until the moment where Del Toro latched onto his wheel on that climb, it's kind of hard to look back on, to be honest.
And how far off following Yates is he? Just?
Oh, I don't think he's far off following Yates at all. I think he was stronger than Yates. I think just the cancel out culture of just Del Toro not riding Richie not pulling because Del Toro's not
Yeah.
pulling, and then you have Wout that just literally slipped into the breakaway as the last man across in the morning. There's just so many factors that, yeah, kind of pain me a bit.
Yeah, it's actually nice hearing the other side of that story, because we have painted this, and I'm sure the history books will paint it as this epic Visma, you know, tactical master plan. But Yates might have been only 1% stronger than Richie and Del Toro. But then when that cancel culture came out between the two of them, that gap just balloons.
Yeah.
And then you've Wout at like maybe the best rider of a generation, maybe the best rider ever to have up the road.
Yeah, as a domestique, as a helper, I mean, generational.
Like I jammed this, someone in the WhatsApp group or on Twitter or something recently. I was like, I put up like Wout, greatest domestique of all time. It's like, everyone's like, he's not a domestique. It's like, but he is on occasion.
On occasion, yeah.
And when he is,
he's the
GOAT domestique.
I mean, if there's someone you want to have in your team that's going to give you their all, it's...
Like, do you remember he rode Tadej off the wheel for Jonas's second Tour win? Clean off the wheel.
I mean, he also only man to drop Tadej this year, so... I mean, he's not a domestique in that regard, but...
And he'll win a bunch sprint. Like, he won a double stage in Ventoux and a bunch sprint on the Champs-Elysees. And then he can ride the best riders in the world off his wheel on a climb. Like, yeah.
Great guy.
What a man.
Yeah.
What a man.
Sure.
Out on 8 sleep. What a combo.
Off the 8 sleep. We'll keep him off the 8 sleep.
Yeah, you don't need that. But yeah, it's interesting to hear the other side of that Fenestra story, because, yeah, it does get painted as this epic Visma day out, which it was, but you weren't far off.
Yeah. I think it was an epic Visma day out. It was an epic EF day out. It was pretty big UAE failure day out. I think there was just so many things that happened on that day that you literally couldn't have put money on the bookies to bet what could have happened pre-stage. It was just like full explosion at the bottom of the climb, and then everything completely reversed by the top.
It was a wild stage to watch. Chatting Froome, and we were talking about, do you remember Froome's Fenestra?
Yeah.
Like, insane win as well. And I never understand why Froome gets stick on social media. I know he hasn't delivered like the last few years, but coming to the end of his career, like, pile of Grand Tours, like 4 Tour de France's, 2 Giros, one Giro, 2 Giros, 2 Vueltas, like.
Yeah, I mean, he was the best cyclist through my whole school life, I think.
Yeah,
it was
probably
impressive.
The best cyclist in my life as well.
Yeah.
But that Fenestra win was insane. But to see the same thing almost happening, what is it, 10 years later? Like, playbook rolled out. It's like, come on, we had to see that coming, lads.
I think it's one of those only things that you could have seen on the last stage where everyone just threw the full book at the stage, and if it had been stage 12 or 15, you might not have seen as many kind of fireworks or explosions, or we probably wouldn't have did the things that we did.
Yeah.
And UAE wouldn't have did the things they did, but they'd almost just been complacent on first and second, that they were forgetting about anyone behind.
But was it just me, or did Del Toro not look too pissed off to lose that jersey on the finish line? I think like he was cheered.
I think in the moment he really thought I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating, but I think in the moment he really didn't think he'd lost much. I think he thought, I've had my days in pink. I'm 21 years old. I've had a great Giro.
Which is all true.
I'm not going to ride Richie to the line and then him beat me at the finish. And I think there was, I mean, we don't know unless we ask him, but I think there was a lot of things in his head. That a second at the Giro at 21 after 10 days in pink, I mean, if you had been offered at the start, you would have been taking it with both hands. But I think it's what he lost and what the bigger public seen as what could have been his chance to win his first Grand Tour of many, or maybe never again. It was just that risk that hung in the balance of...
Well, because it's almost like the psychology of, like, if you think about the psychology of a podium in Worlds or Olympic Games, bronze medal is a much better medal to get in a lot of ways than a silver medal is to get. Because silver medal, you're left thinking of what could have been. Bronze medal, you're left thinking of what could have been, going, I almost wasn't on the podium. Like, I've got a medal out of this, super result.
Yeah.
Silver medal, it's like, oh, you know, if I got that sprint a little bit better, or if I played this a little bit better, you're not really thinking about fourth when you're second. I feel like Del Toro fell into that a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like he was holding the gold medal up until the last day. Like, Rome is a procession, and if he had have just held on to it for 35 more Ks, he was going to be the winner of the Giro, and I think that's what most people saw.
You're a pretty solid Giro though. Like you're front of the race at key points, you're popping up and I'm flicking on Eurosport. I'm like, oh, there's Darren. Doing his thing at the front of the bunch while I'm here eating donuts on the big screen.
Yeah, it's been fun. I have to say the 2 Grand Tours is the 2 races that I've felt like a lot of satisfaction from. As any kind of youth rider growing up, you know the Tour, you know the Giro, you know the Vuelta, I mean Olympics also. And to do both, like to check off the Vuelta and the Giro as national champion for both of them.
I forgot you were a national champ for that. And there was a lovely national champs jersey as well.
I mean 2 lovely bikes, 2 lovely kits. Like first time doing a Grand Tours for both, and they were both as national champion. It was like big sense of pride, to be honest. Like I personally maybe didn't get as much out of it as I would have kind of set myself up to get. But I think...
Like how do you mean you set goals for yourself at the start of the race?
I'm just always, I suppose I'm probably expecting quite a lot of myself all the time, but just had some bad days where I just underperformed or couldn't give to the team what I would have liked. And then also some days where I felt like I was really at my best. And if I was asked to get in the break, I was in there and I was waiting for Richie on top of a climb and getting him bottles and gels and doing what I could into the bottom of the final climbs. Things like this that, gets forgotten about pretty quickly. But
how hard is the fight to get into the break?
Pretty,
Because we don't really ever get to see that as
pretty hard.
Like most of the time they don't televise the early skirmish to get into the break. You just kind of joined on air and it's like 5 lads up the road tapping it out. You don't see the absolute war to get into that break.
Yeah, it depends. Like definitely on like the big kind of satellite rider days where it's going to be up one climb, down, up another, down, and then finish on a climb. Those are the days that if you want to be in, you've got to push some numbers to be in. I mean, there's obviously some TV breakaway days where you can clip off and everyone's like, enjoy your 200k up the road.
Yeah,
but if it's a bit of an epic day, you're definitely working for it.
You know, I'm genuinely proud of my little man cave. My escape, my safe place. It's not glamorous by any means. It's crammed into the spare room in our apartment with bikes stacked in the corner, boxes everywhere, and the smell of chain lube is just kind of hanging in the air. But in that corner, that's where the work gets done. That's where I switch off from everything else and I lock in on my training. And the centerpiece of it all, it's the WAHOO Kicker Bike Pro. Honestly, it's the ultimate man cave bike. The thing just feels alive under you. It climbs, it descends, it shifts all automatically. You can dial into your exact position to the millimeter, just like your outdoor bike. And with the new setup, everything's smoother, quieter, and way more immersive. It's that perfect mix of comfort and performance that makes indoor cycling feel like a privilege, not like a punishment. And look, I'm Irish. I'm sitting in Ireland recording this right now. I know what it's like to wake up, look out the window, see wind, rain, and sideways hail, and think, do I really want to be out there today? And that's where the Kicker comes in. You can get a world-class session done right there in your safe little space, no matter what's happening outside. If you want to build your own version of that space, a place to train hard, stay consistent, and escape for a little bit, check out WAHOO at wahoofitness.com. They've got everything from the flagship Kicker Bike Pro to the Kicker Core 2, which gives you that same legendary ride feel at a killer price point. WAHOO, building the better athlete in all of us.
How does the satellite rider thing work? Is it like, when does the decision actually get made that that's the break of the day, and who's making that call? Is it the 2-3 big GC teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually the leader of the race. It's their team that's making all the shots on, we don't want this person to break, we don't mind if that person's in, we don't want this team at all in, we're happy for 5 riders to go, we're happy for 10 riders to go. And that changes from race to race, from stage to stage. And
look, say if you take that Finestra stage, like how's Wout getting into that break?
He literally got away through a little cobbled street in a town. The break was gone about 20 seconds up the road. Bunch is starting to slow up through the town, and he just accelerates on the edge of the cobbles, 400 meters before the edge of the town. Bridges across on a big main road. Everyone sits up, goes back for bottles.
But is that not
stop, and that was it.
Is that like a UAE of shit the bed in that moment? Like, is
honestly,
their job there that day not let Wout into that break?
Correct, in my opinion, yes. And I think if you watch back any of the Giro breakaway fights, UAE really took a back seat in all of the breakaway formation. I think they had this feeling that they had it all under control for every stage, so they never stressed about breakaway formation, and it was honestly impressive to not stress. Like, they just sit at the back and just there was one stage in the early, I think second week, where we had 3 or 4 EF riders in the front group and no UAE riders.
That's wild.
And it ended up all coming back together, and they didn't seem too stressed about it at all. But
that's either
they would
total confidence or total stupidity.
I think it is just total confidence. I think they really think they do their thing right. There's no break gonna win, which
statistically is proved quite accurate for them.
Yeah, I think the power they can kind of rattle along at is pretty impressive.
They've just so many riders who are, like, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you've got Yates,
Sivakov, Yates, like,
you can rhyme them off. They've got, I mean, a lot of the top 10% of the World Tour peloton is in that team, and I mean, they're all exceptional bike riders, and I think
McNulty doesn't even get brought to good races. Like,
I think people forget, like, most riders in the World Tour, or if not all, are all pretty great bike riders, but there's that next tier up, and a lot of them fall into that category of.
What separates that subdivision within the World Tour? Because for me or anyone listening, the World Tour, it's like, I had this recently, Laverick was on the podcast, and I'm saying, like, the World Tour and gravel riders they're not the same. The World Tour, it's the 1% of the 1%. You think who's winning? You know, you were super talent coming through at U23. The whole cycling world's talking about Darren Rafferty, U23 coming through. Then you step into the World Tour. It's easy for us to forget what the World Tour is. It's that talent at U23 that everyone's talking about. All of them are in the World Tour.
Correct.
You know, Dunbar was this mega talent, won in Flanders and stuff as a junior coming through, and you're in the World Tour with him and all the other mega talents. So it's like the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. What separates that from the next 1% up?
Yeah, I think actually someone that put it to me great right from the off was Bettiol. Kind of joined the team first November camp, just having a chat. You know, he was like, "Oh, what have you been up to as under 23?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, good couple of seasons, been with Haggins Berman, did such and such, won this race, blah, 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 blah." And he was like, "Oh yeah, that doesn't really matter here. Everyone's done that." And I was like, kind of a little bit taken aback, because you have a little sense of pride in your own results, but it was also very true. Yeah. You have to realize that every single rider in the World Tour has been junior national champion. They've won a road race. They're good under 23. You don't just rock up and be the best rider because you won an under 23 race. So, I mean, I think that's the harsh reality of the sport. If you're at the top, there's going to be always a lot of people better than you. But you have to remember that there's also a lot of people not at the level. So, yeah.
Can you bridge that gap? Is that a compounding the good habits that you're doing and just trying to iterate season after season? Or is it a genetic gap?
No, I think I'm definitely looking more towards Ben for that kind of seeing the progress as possible. You know, like really.
Ben's been a great example, actually.
Yeah, he's really consistent. I've known him for a while. I've seen him come through Trinity, through Wiggins, through the steps to EF, to year-on-year improvement. And I think that's something that's good to see for everyone.
Because plugged in is Ben, like, because when I chat to him, he's just, he's humble, he's a little bit dismissive, but he hasn't got there without being fanatical in the background. Like, how do you get a glimpse of what that is, and are you able to emulate it then?
I think that's every cyclist. I think some people come off as like more witty or chatty, but I think behind the scenes, everyone takes it super seriously. Yeah, I mean, we are. Like, who wants to go ride 3,500 Ks in 3 weeks, or ride in 40-degree heat for 5 hours? It's not really what you'd choose to do if you were just a healthy, normal.
But you know what sums up cyclist mentality for me is, do you ever ride a hill climb champs?
Yeah.
And you finish the hill climb champs, you're literally puking, no oxygen. Like, I rode, I can't remember, it was like 2013 or 2014 or something, like second in the hill climb champs back home, full gas over the line, nearly collapsing, sick on the ground. Seeing my dad at the finish line, he's like, "How'd you go?" I was like, "I had a bit more." Like, how do you mean you had a bit more?
Yeah,
you nearly needed to go to hospital. Like, that's the cycling mentality, where it's like, you're doing, from the outside it looks like you're the most dialed human in the world, and you're like, "Oh, there's a bit more there."
Yeah, there's always something more in there. I think that's the thing. It's like this constant strive to be a bit better is what makes people better. If you just sat and thought one morning, "Oh, I've kind of done enough," that's when you start regressing pretty quickly. So, yeah, definitely just picking away at small improvements, trying to be a couple of % better than you were last year, or doing slightly better at a certain race than you were in the previous. I think that's that's kind of the trajectory.
It sounds like the bunch is a metaphor for cycling progression almost. Like, what's one of the things you would say to a kid early as soon as you get into the bunch? Look, you need to be moving forward in the bunch, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving back.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And they still say it with us as well, but it's that with fighting into all the key parts of races where you're, you know, everyone's fighting for the same place, everyone's moving forward, someone has to move back, you know, everyone can't move forward at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, if you're not holding your position, moving forward, you are.
How good are you at that rough and tumble in the bunch?
I don't mind it. It's not my strongest asset, but it's definitely something I'm not bad at. It's rare that I'm like caught out on bad positioning, but it's definitely something I'm keen to work on as well.
Yeah, what makes the lads, like Bling was talking about his frustration sometimes with the team.
Yeah.
Where he almost just doesn't get it. He's like, you know, I told you to move, you didn't move. Like, now I'm fourth wheel, you were meant to be fifth wheel or third wheel or whatever, and you're just not here. I said, it does get frustrating at times, and he just, then he has to step back and go, look, it's not as easy for everyone as it is for me to do this.
Correct. I think it's very easy for the better riders to think to like their teammates like, oh, why didn't you just move up? But if you're trying to like drag race Asgreen or Affini into like, I mean, into like the first junction at such and such race, it's pretty difficult. It's not like, oh, you just didn't try.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing maybe 450, 460 watts for 2-3 minutes at 65 or 66 kilos.
And you're moving nowhere.
And you're going back. You're going properly back. So yeah, I don't really know what to say on that one. I mean, we've got a great guy that does it, Sweeney. I mean, a lot of people know him for it.
Very underrated rider from what I hear. Like, when I chat
honestly,
with lads on the podcast, and I'd say, like, who's an underrated rider, his name comes up a lot.
Yeah, I think he's becoming much less underrated. I think a lot of people rate him a lot. You look at any of the classics where Ben's been well positioned, he's your man. But obviously someone else has to take over the role before that, or the bit before that. And I think that's the thing with cycling. You kind of only see the winners mostly. But yeah, it's a 30-man team. There's always races that people are at that are putting just as much work in, and I think that's the bit where a little bit of talent comes in. Like someone like Bling, he's just got that. You know, like he gets to the bottom of Quebec, he can just polish off a win. He's got it in him, and
when he comes around for a coffee, he's got that bit. It's like there's something cool about him, or something.
Yeah,
it's
like sometimes they've just got that little % or two extra, and it's hard to. It's not in a formula. It's not in a training plan. They
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of.
It's the magic dust.
Yeah, they've just got a little bit of extra.
But like I look at, you know, kind of. I'm not sure if you overlapped at all with him, but like Valverde, like into the key parts of the Ardennes for 15 years. Valverde's top 3 wheel going into the bottom of the Muir, and it's like, how? Like, you don't see him for the entire race, and then he pops up. Like, a mate sent me on a clip from Tour de France. I can't even remember what year it was, like Stefan Schumacher and all was on the attack with Gerlsteiner, so it was a good few years back.
Is pre my year. I don't even know these names,
I'd say you were just getting bored. Yeah, he's a notorious doper back in the day. He was glowing. But the race is just like popping off all over the place on this slight uphill finish. You're not seeing anyone until 150 to go, and Valverde just pops up, and you're like, the man is just in position non-stop, like perpetually in position. Yeah.
Some people can just sniff it out. I feel like, as I've said already, it's a lot easier to be in position if you're the strongest rider. Like, it's a lot easier to be the big fish and kind of roam around and be like, oh, what's people stressing about? I can move up, no problem. But if you've got an extra 80 watts to do and it's not an issue to you and you can recover, then, I mean, you can see lots of races where people are strung out in one line and Tade's just been back from a piss and he just cruises up past everyone, and you're kind of looking down going,
is that heartbreaking?
It's pretty hard, but he's just kind of cruising up in the wind back to the front. Then you're like,
is that just like soul destroying?
It's not soul destroying, because I mean, as I said, a lot of people, like, I'm in the race with Tade, but I'm not racing Tade. You know, me and him we're not racing each other. We're in the same event, but yeah, I'm there helping someone else to try and rival him, like Ben or something at Amstel. But yeah,
I remember having a moment.
Eye-opening, honestly.
I was racing in Canada. It was like, I had many moments where I knew I wasn't going to make a bike rider, but this was definitely one of them. I was just pinned in the gutter in some 2.2. I think it was like Tour of Beauce or something. Pinned in the gutter super hard. I'm sitting 380, 390, whatever in the wheel, like pinned, can't move, knowing I probably should be moving up. And then I hear this, like the whole bunch of single file in the gutter, slight crosswind. Then I hear diagonal, like, want a ball? I'm like, I can't even take my hands off the bar to get one. I hardly turn my head to look at him. And I'm like, no, you're cool, Philip. And he just like goes, cool. And he just like rides up the full line, just handing bottles out to people up the full line with a jersey full of bottles.
Yeah.
I'm like he's second on GCA, I think, at the time as well. I'm like, what? What is going on here? Like, there's different layers to this game.
Correct. There's different levels to the game, and it's something you could only start to see from the inside. Like, a lot of people will just be like, oh, why didn't you just follow this person on the attack, or why did you get dropped from the breakaway? As if you just kind of chose to.
Sure, Ben was saying it on the pod when I had him on. He's like, people always say to him, like, you know, why are you not trying to follow Tadej? And he's like, I am trying. Like, I done 8 watts a kilo or whatever it was, trying to follow him.
I think that's the thing. Like, everyone's giving their best, and I think that's something we've done quite well with the team, with like debriefs and kind of planning. It's like, we can only get as much as we can get out of you. So if that means we need to use you earlier or whatever, we're going to do it. And at least you'll get what you need to get out of yourself earlier. You'll see if someone else for longer, and then if they've got something more extra to give, they can give it. And that's kind of that game of chess, of using your riders correctly, without just kind of doing it on pure force all the time.
We can introduce a new section of the podcast. We'll call it Paddy Corner. We better talk some Irish cycling stuff, because it's a phenomenal year for, you know, you, the team, Ben. Like, a podium in the world seems pretty unbelievable. Like, I was alive, but I'm too young to remember Roach in '87 winning World. So that just feels like, you know, something from a world I don't know. I've never seen him racing. This is the first time that it's been like, you know, someone I know and someone I've raced against. To watch them stand on a podium in the Worlds is pretty insane. As a fan, what was it like to be a part of the team, and like a key part of the team?
It's pretty wild, to be honest. Like, I think to be on an Irish team in Africa is already like, where's the story
pulling on
going?
The green jersey's so cool.
Like, I think even more so this year, there was just this feeling that it was going to go well. And before, it's like, it's happened, like, there's been a few good results or whatever. But this year, we really bended through the kitchen sink at this event. Like, it was his goal after the tour, like, I'm focused on Worlds. End of story. Anything we need to get there, we'll do it. And we just built like a really solid team around him. I think the support network was great, and everything went to plan. Like, we had full faith in him, he had full faith in himself.
Is he a chill lad to ride for?
Yeah. I think
no drama.
I think that's what earns him definitely more respect in EF, and probably also on the Irish team, is that he's not a demanding leader, and I think he just carries that kind of persona that you want to help him out. You know that he's got it, and he deserves the support, and he's going to back it up when it comes to it. So I mean, obviously there wasn't many finishes of the race, but to be able to stand in the pits and watch him go past every lap at the front of the race, it's pretty impressive.
Because he singled you out on the podcast as being very key in his performance in positioning him on the climbs. Like, the goal, as he told it going in, was to use as little energy as possible on the climb. So that meant positioning well on the climb and riding the climb as easy as he could, and just roll like lag climbing. Yeah,
exactly. And I think, we spoke about it a lot in the days before, about all sorts of possible strategies, and basically we just came up with this thing that he just didn't want to touch the feed zone, didn't want to get involved in the chaos, the hecticness of it. And
why is that? Just safety wise?
Just safety, hassle, grabbing a musette, just opportunities for things to go wrong, and basically just singled me out, like, do you mind grabbing the bottles and making sure I have a mix of water every lap, or have enough gels, I don't need to carry them all from the start. And I was like, yeah, sure. And obviously that burns a lot of energy, and you can only do it for so long, but it's quite rewarding when you feel part of it. Like, you know, you're not going to win Worlds, or you're not going to podium yourself, so if you're able to help someone else in that capacity of, I'm going to make your life as easy as possible for 150k, it's quite nice.
There's something strange happening in endurance sports and cycling right now. Nobody's talking about Nomeo, but everybody seems to be using it. They've no influencer campaigns, they've no glossy ads. They just have the quiet word of mouth between riders who've seen what it does firsthand. I spotted this on Mads Pedersen's Instagram account, one of those little bottles. and I got curious. So I did two things. Firstly, I booked a podcast with Dr. Philip Larson. He's the scientist behind it. And secondly, I ran my own little bro science experiment. Here's what I done. 4 days, I went out to the exact same hill and I rode the first 3 minutes of it. Pretty much the same legs. Day 1, I went 463 watts. Day 2, 462 watts. No Nomeo, 1 watt difference between those two efforts. Then I added Nomeo on day 3, 470 watts. Next day, 472 watts. Now this is bro science. This isn't peer reviewed, but honestly, it's real. And it got my attention. And when I sat down with Dr. Larson, one of the top physiologists in endurance sports, he explained why this might be happening to me. Nomeo's broccoli sprout extract, it triggers something called NRF2, a pathway that helps your body adapt to stress, recover faster, and buffer lactate. The result? Cyclists in a study showed lower lactate, higher power, and faster recovery without changing their training. This isn't hype. This is the next chapter of endurance science. And if you want to try it for yourself, the good folks at Nomeo have given our Roadman listeners a discount to check it out for the first time and just see if it works. So Roadman listeners can get 20% off with the code RoadmanCycling20 at nomeo.com. That's use code RoadmanCycling20 at nomeo.com.
Who was the... So it was you, Eddie,
Yeah.
Rory, Ryan,
Ryan.
and obviously Ben.
Yeah.
I didn't miss any. There was no one else, was there? It's 5.
No, that's a big question. No, I think...
Archie wasn't? No, Archie wasn't there.
No Archie. No, I think that's us. I thought there was 6. I think there was supposed to be 6 and then Archie was a bit injured, so he didn't come.
It would have been looked like a good course for Archie as well.
Yeah, I think he would have been a
Or the shorter.
He would have been a great addition.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to have him there. Also, Jamie would have been really good there.
Jamie again, fucking like...
Yeah.
Irish cycling, like...
Yeah.
We're not the jokers anymore.
No, definitely not. I think
Perception must be changing in the bunch as well. Like, you know, Jamie's gone Cofidis, Dinky stepped up, the picnic post,
Yep.
NL, Dylan Corkery, Dunbar, obviously on Q36, your EF, Ben's EF, like...
Yeah, it'll be good when we have it in the double digits. I feel like
your brother's coming through as well.
Yeah, Adam, Seth, yeah, Connor Murphy, Gaffney's at Axion now as well. Like, I feel like, yeah, it's definitely a nation that's being more looked at in terms of a scouting point of view. And I think there was a lot of focus on the British riders for a bit. And I think that's also transferred across to the Irish riders because they're just kind of looking in the same places and they've got that.
And even the generation coming behind you and your brother even looks good. Like I was out riding a couple of weeks ago with Matthew Walls, won Junior Tour of Ireland last year, Junior Tour of Portugal last year, and like he already looks like a bike rider.
Yeah.
It's like he's chatting away to him when on the front of the group ride and like, and you crack, what are you up to for this evening? He's like, I have to go home and do my homework. It's like you forget he's still in school, like, because he's an adult on the bike. He looks like an adult. He handles the bike like an adult. He real maturity in class looking as a bike rider. But the kid's still in school.
Yeah, I think that's the thing to bear in mind. It's like a lot of these kids are kids. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that as if I'm some old person. I'm also not that old. But there is a lot of pressure on young people to be doing everything right, and it's not the most important thing in life either. There is more to life than just riding bikes. So yeah, I mean, I was even speaking to my dad there recently about cyclocross, and he was saying, oh yeah, there's actually some really nippy looking under 12s, 14s that look pretty good, like nice little bit of flow to them, like know what they're doing on the bike, and there'll always be more people coming through. And I think especially this season in particular with Ben at the Tour, people know the Tour, people know the yellow jersey. To see an Irish rider in yellow and then come third, there's a couple of things. It's like, oh, maybe my kid will have a go at that. Maybe my son will get the bike out of the garage.
But there's a real can't see me, can't be me. You know, if you don't have those role models, and you know, I like the two boys, so I don't want this to come across as sounding disrespectful. But when you looked at Nico and Dan Martin from the previous generation, I don't think I did. I don't speak for you, but they didn't come up through the Irish system. Like Nico lived in France, Dan grew up in the UK. You know, I know they're both super proud to put on the green jersey, but it's slightly different if you're a kid back home, getting to see you, Archie, Eddie, the people who you literally raced with week after week, because it's something about like rubbing shoulders with someone in a bunch sprint. You get second, he gets third. All of a sudden, he's a World Tour contract 2 years later, and it's like, I can do. Like I was racing him 2 weeks ago. If he can do that, I can do that. Like Jamie now, like you must have come up racing against Jamie, and it's like he's looking at you now. 2 years later, he's signing in Cofidis, and it just seems to lift the tide back home. It's not impossible anymore. It's very doable.
No,
you know
it's,
someone that's done it.
It's definitely not impossible, and that was kind of the thing that, is important to try and transfer to the younger riders. Like, if this is something you actually genuinely like doing and you enjoy it, and it's something you see yourself capable of doing, then definitely throw yourself into it. There's no harm in giving 2 years of your life post school to try and make it if that's what you want to do. But like, don't come into it thinking it's going to be easy. If you have the right mentality, I think you can definitely go pretty far with the sport.
And it's not for them, and you're pointing across to, cycling. You need to be from these exotic places or French towns or the Flemish culture to be a pro anymore. It's like, them is us. Like, it's for Irish lads now. Like, there's a scenario I can see in 5-6 years time where we've 10, 15 lads in the World Tour.
Yeah, I can definitely see the double digits pretty soon. Like, definitely pre-2030, there should be definitely double digits in the World Tour, which would be, I think it would be a pretty good moment. Like, if it's not just Dan and Nico, it's like, we've got, count them on two hands, more. We need
it's
an
not
extra.
The exception anymore, it's the rule.
Yeah, so obviously it's still not a big, it's not the Dutch or the Belgians or the French or the Italians, but it doesn't have to be either. Like, we're
small country,
able to have a few riders and be proud to have that and have a good nationals and spur on the next generation. So.
Yeah, and I wonder how big the Healy, time will only tell how big the Healy effect is in that. How many kids are 6 years old watching the Champions League and then watching Ben Healy and going, you know what, I'll give cycling a bash instead of going all in on football.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty niche. Like, if I look at my own school kind of life, there's not many people talking about cycling. Like, we are, because we're in it and we're immersed in the culture, and that's all we think about probably most days. But I think football, especially at home GAA, it takes a lot of riders away from the possibility of being a cyclist.
Lost a lot of good men to the GAA.
Yeah, that's where I started. It's what people do from home, and there's something pretty beautiful about the sport as well. It's amateur, it's a national sport. It's just so many things to it, but it also takes away the opportunity to have like a great athletics runner, or like, I know, like a really close neighbour of mine's like Nick Griggs, absolutely sensational runner.
Yeah.
European champion under 20s, and it's like, maybe if he'd have stuck at soccer or whatever for a few more years, you might never have got into running and realised that he can be the best in Europe.
Yeah, I think for anyone listening that doesn't appreciate how big the Irish sports are at home, like, they're all that matter. Like,
they're huge.
A buddy of mine who came back when I raced on the tandem, Peter Ryan, is gas, man. Like, you need to meet this lad sometime. He's stand-up comedy funny. But Peter's on the back of the tandem. But his story is pretty tragic. But also he just, in only he can, makes it just gas. He lost his eyesight when he was like 18 or 19 with a genetic, but he was playing hurling for Tipperary at the time. So I heard him public speaking about this, and he's saying like, I'm in the Tipperary team breaking in at 19. He's like, hurling's a big deal down in Tipperary. I'm not sure if you realise how big a deal. He's like, but if you're 18 and you're in the Tipperary hurling team, you're getting laid every night.
If you're playing county, you're the man.
He's like, you were getting laid every night with a different girl.
No, it's like,
that's not happening if you're on actions at 18.
No, definitely not. Like, growing up through school, it's like people thinking like, you cycle. Like, what? Like,
you not afford a
who
car?
are you? Like Bradley Wiggins. Like, that was just like the running joke. And it's like, well, no, I'm not. But I think one of the realizations for me was like GCSE. I'm 15 years old. All the lads are chatting about getting down to Athlone to play a game of football, and I'm trying to get selected to go to WAHOO for the Youth Olympics. And I'm like, whoa, pretty big difference here. Like, I'm kind of happy in my own lane. And I think from there, that was like a big realization. My life's actually really not bad, and I'm happy with the path that I'm choosing. And then from there, I kind of started to drop other sports and really focus on cycling, because really started to see the pathway that was kind of out in front of me.
You still connected with the club back home?
Yeah.
It's Island Whalers?
Yeah, Island Whalers, yeah.
Big, not a big club.
It's not a huge club. I think now we've got like 125, 130 members.
Actually is pretty big.
Yeah, so.
Anyone good coming up?
Not really many youth at all, actually, unfortunately. I think the sport is just a little bit expensive to get into. We have a few young riders that are like really young, like under 8s and 10s, that are like kind of sons and daughters of club riders that are getting involved in cyclocross and doing a little bit, but not many on the road at the minute.
I think cycling broadly, like UK, US, Ireland, is going through a weird stage, and it's particularly painful obviously for us because it's back home, but it's like with the growth we're seeing in, like you're saying, it could be double digits World Tour in the next 3 to 4 years.
Yep.
And then we're seeing the domestic calendars just, like, it's unrecognizable from when I was racing, like, week in, week out in 2017, 2018. It's like we're missing most of the big races. The Ross has gone from 8 days to 5 days. Tour of Ulster's gone. Tour of the North's gone. Visit Mina's gone. It's like, what's going on here? Like,
yeah, I think it's a pretty bleak situation. I think it comes so many factors that it's not an obvious answer, because everyone has a different feeling on a different opinion. And I think it's like the policing with the roads. I think it's the cost of entry fees, cost of living in general, price of bikes, just the effort that has to go into winning an A1 race. That there's just so many aspects of, do you want to go to an A3 race and get hammered by Conor Murphy? Do you, like, it's,
there's the categories need to get, I don't know. It's,
I mean, I've had a long thought on it and I have my own opinions, but
go on.
Yeah.
Give us them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point scheme for the A3s, juniors, should just kind of be a lot easier. As soon as the junior wins one race, let them up to A2, A1 races. Much smaller calendar.
Why is that? Because you don't want one junior just ragging on the rest of the lads and winning every week?
I just don't want juniors thinking that they're like winning races every week, so they're going to go abroad and win. Like, you need to be a good A1 as a junior to be going across Europe and battling against.
Yeah.
If you're going to Junior Worlds, you want to be racing against Darfeely. You want to be racing against Con at home. You want to be racing against Ronan O'Connor and trying to beat them on the climate. Che Elliott. If you're not, then you're going to struggle at Worlds. And I think that's somewhere where we hold back the riders, and it should be a choice. Like, if a junior's just starting out in the sport and they want to ride A4, great. Let them ride A4. It shouldn't be you have to start in A3 and get a kick in, or it shouldn't be you have to start in A3 and win every race for a whole season. And I think that was kind of something that held back the generation just above me of, like, Adam Ward and Brendan Flanagan and Cahir and Shea, and they were just stuck in A3, hammering A3s for months on end.
And that does nothing for participation of actual A3s who's like,
exactly.
the dude who's a family and, training 6-8 hours a week, wants to race A3. Then he shows up and a lad who's literally riding Europeans last week knocks bits out of him. Yeah. He's like, why am I going to spend 30, 40 quid entry to drive across here, get lit up on the first climb, and then be back in the car 10 minutes later, driving home on my own?
I think just like, we don't need to be starting bike racing on the first week of March. Like,
stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Ireland's a cold place, and I think if you have racing from the 1st of April to the 31st of August, that's a great season.
But, like, the weather is a lot better in September than it is in March, even April. Like, I've raced our Easter race, Rossmoon. Like, I finished that in the snow more times than I can count.
You can almost finish in the snow in July too. So
that's
there's no point planning it just on the weather. But I think definitely a more condensed calendar. I mean,
but it's back to your EF thing, which you talked about. Like, you're acutely aware as a young rider of what it is you do. Like, you ride bikes to create attention and you sell that attention. You're very switched on and aware about that. We look at bike racing at home and we don't have a model for it. It's almost like charity. If you're asked, like, I spoke to the lad who Victus that used to sponsor the Tour of Ulster. And he's just like, I love cycling. It's very tax efficient for him to be involved in sponsoring cycling, but he moved over and started sponsoring some rugby, and he's like, the access I get in rugby, they give me tickets, they come in the dressing room, meet the players, and it's like, he just wanted to feel a bit of love out of cycling. It's like, stick him in a team car, get him a yellow jersey if he's sponsoring this, the yellow jersey comes to his office the week after. We're not switched on to giving return on investment to anyone involved.
Yeah, I think that's something that cycling's definitely lagging behind in a bit. It's like, no stadiums, everything's free to enter, and that feeling of even the hospitality or the VIP access, you're not really getting much more than someone that just wants to rock up on the side of Carcassonne and watch the race finish. You can pay and get a free glass of champagne and have your lunch made for you, but it's completely free if you want them to be.
Skoda brought me out to the tour last year.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, my friend.
Yeah.
Helicopter. Watching the stage in the helicopter. Then they drop you ahead of the race in the helicopter and you get into the team car and you're in behind the brake and stuff. Then you bring you to the finish line gantry and they're like champagne and stuff right in there. I'm like, this is rock and roll.
That's living. I mean, I've never been in a helicopter, so you're massively one-upping me there. But.
Do you know, because they sent the message, you're like, do you want to come to the tour? I'm like, no, you're cool. Like, I've been tour. Like, bike races, unless you're a bike racer, are shit. Like, if you're a bike racer going to a bike race and you're not racing, it's just a shit experience. You're just like,
Massively put my hand up on that one.
Like, what am I doing here?
The only thing that I enjoyed this year was going to Toulouse. That I ended up doing an EF event there that just coincided with Ben going into yellow. That was
you're over for that?
epic. That was maybe the coolest. I mean, that and the Giro on the last day in Rome were like Giro in Rome, day 9 or 10 in Toulouse, and Worlds were like just 3 epic days out.
But is that mad that you're going from being Ben's teammate and peer to almost turn into a fan that day?
I wasn't turned into. I was a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of Ben. I don't mind saying that. Like, whenever I was there, I was like, "This is so cool. Like this guy's winning the tour right now." And it's like, I know him. We're friends. It's like growing up at school. You didn't know Sir Bradley Wiggins. It's like, oh, he won the tour. It comes up on your Sky News.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. But like,
it's coming up on Sky News a lot more as
like,
well.
it's Ben. It's like we'll meet up for training rides. We know each other.
Do you train with Ben?
Yeah.
So who's the training group?
I mean, train a lot with Archie and Lucas, 2 good friends on the team. Ben quite a bit. Sweeney's up there in Andorra as well. James Shaw and Duel. Duel's unfortunately moving to Visma now. So.
James Shaw's EF again?
Yeah. Staying for another year. Just announced it, I think, yesterday.
Yeah,
he's had a bit of a battle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's on board for another year.
So you keep the training groups pretty much?
We mix it up. I mean, I'm not a big social butterfly. I think Archie's probably one of the people that's like much more out there, much more extroverted. Even my brother, more better at meeting up with other people, but kind of just getting the session done. If I have a few people that are doing something similar, I'm keen to ride.
Is that what you're looking at? Yeah, you're looking at your session and kind of just texting the boys to the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I feel like if like me and Ben go out, we're kind of just on the pedals. We know what we need to do, bit of chat, get the job done. I don't really like just like tapping along in a group of 6 or 8, not really getting the job done.
It's a frustrating feeling because you're like, I've given up the time, but I haven't exactly got the session.
Correct. Like
I was meant to do.
I think for our lifestyle, it's perfect opportunity on a race day to meet up with someone or ride with people you don't want to ride with on another day. That you're just like, 180 watts for an hour and a half, you keen? And then you can just get someone you're just tapping along, chatting, and that's the perfect day to enjoy your day off, essentially. But
what do you like training wise? I know, coming back from Nice last week, hanging out with Eddie down there, and them having Bling on the podcast, and 2 of them train together, and they train with Bling and Tade train together all the time, and then Eddie seems to dip in and out of that group because he has a lot of structure, the boys are saying, and so he trains with them on occasion. But Bling said he doesn't really do intervals. He just rides the terrain, and same for Tade. They just meet up and kind of go, what do you feel like doing? And then if they need to work on 5-minute climbs, they pick a route with some 5-minute climbs, they ride them hard. But he said they're on the pedals.
Yeah, I think that's something I'm really trying to improve, is like just being on the pedals. Because I think it's easy to coast away and do 200 watts and then come back from the ride thinking, I did a good job. But actually, you just tapped around, you're not really achieving something. So that's something I'm consciously working on for next year, just like keeping the pressure on.
But it's more better though, like, so I've obviously a lot of conversations on the podcast now with coaches and physiologists, and Zone 1 is something that's come in the last 2 years that for me is totally foreign, because I would have been like, say your Zone 2 starts at 220. Like you don't ride at 210, because I almost seen this as like a cliff. I'm getting no benefit from here.
Yeah.
But speaking to like, Vasilis Anastopoulos, even as over in Science and Sport yesterday, coaching some good riders, Wakefield's in, Red Bull, and they're like, Zone 1 is like the most slept on zone, because you're getting a lot of the mitochondrial density, building new mitochondria, really strong aerobic session without the residual fatigue. So you're maintaining that sharpness then, so you can actually hit your, if you're going through a polarized, a lot of the riders are going through a polarized plan at the moment, you can hit that VO2 max effort properly hard the next day because you don't have that residual fatigue.
Yep.
How do you think about that compared to like Bling idea of staying on the pedals?
Yeah, I think I'm more on the stay on the pedals kind of thing, just because I think it what's worked for me. Like, I developed quite quickly to just pushing the pace and having a solid just tempo. I feel like I get quite a big fitness improvement from that. And if I ride too easy, I just feel like I'm not making adaptations.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit like all these things, very individual. What works for one person doesn't work for the other. And I think at the end of the day, I have a coach setting me training. So if I'm constantly conflicting with his ideas or thinking, I'd rather do this, or maybe that's not right, then he's not really coaching me, and I'm then half coaching myself. He's half coaching me, and neither of us are doing the job right.
Yeah,
so,
I think I heard the other day this great expression: there's many ways up the mountain.
100%.
and each path up the mountain has something different about it. Like, you know, there's a better view, there's some rutted areas, there's a bit of off camber one way, the other way is not without its pitfalls either. The important thing is to choose a path up the mountain. And it's like, for me, that's doing what the coach says. Like, and trust, like, it starts with that. When you're figuring out who's going to coach you, do I trust this person to navigate me up the mountain? And if you do the sessions.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. It's like, put full confidence in the coach, give it 6 months, see where you're at in May or June. If you're happy with where you're at, perfect. If it's not, maybe have a chat about changing something in the off season next year. But like, so far, I think it's working. It's something that I'm happy with, and I think once you have the confidence, it's like you say, cycling's 50% mental, 50% physical. If you're happy and you feel like you're doing the right thing, you're going to be doing pretty good, I think.
What's next season look like? No Tour de France debut?
I don't
Giro
think so. Maybe a 27 Tour de France debut would be the dream. Nice little trip around UK and then over to France. That would be pretty cool. If I could have some people on the boat over from home or fly over from home to watch, that would be like, that's where I have my kind of medium term goal set at. But hopefully another Grand Tour next year. They're kind of the pinnacle of cycling. They're what you get out of bed for in the morning. And yeah, apart from that, just getting the race days in, helping at some races, trying to go for my own results at others, and trying to make a step up from these first 2 years.
Do you have a career vision that you dare to say out loud?
Not really career vision.
Because at 22, it's like, could you win the Tour? Like, you know what I mean? You don't know at that age. Maybe you can, like.
Yeah, I don't want to set the ceiling, but I think from what I've been seeing, it's pretty hard to go from 6.3 or 4 or 5 watts a kilo for 20 minutes to 7.1 or 7.2. It's a pretty big jump.
It's a big jump.
And I think I'm more working like 1%, 2% improvements. And I see myself having quite a long career. I see myself being a pretty useful teammate if I don't make it as a leader. And it's a role which I've been in for the last 2 years, but I would like to break out of a little bit this next coming season and kind of show a bit more that if I get in the break, I can go on and win the stage, not sit up and wait and be a satellite rider. And I think, yeah, we'll have to take it as it comes. Team orders always come first, and they have given me the odd opportunity on occasion to have a rattle, and I've shown sometimes that I'm not far away. So
yeah, no, you're very close to a big breakthrough win where a lot of people are going to know your name.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's always what you're wanting, but it's easier said than done. And like, as I said already, there's a lot of great riders in the game, and it's just about slowly improving so you find that race that suits you and where you can kind of break through, I suppose.
I think your house is starting to get a bit busy, so we will wrap up.
Yeah,
podcast. Your first appearance on the podcast, first of many, hopefully.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was good chat.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Darren, you're a gent.
Yeah.
Thanks.